They all want to see the new cash cow lad, the new main man. So I'm here to get them all in a headlock later and let them know who the new kid on the block is.
This is Paddy, and he's one of the most popular up-and-coming stars in the UFC, with many people, both fans and haters alike, comparing him to Conor McGregor.
In England, we have Paddy Pimblett. I personally would love to see that fight. He's similar to you in that he's a polarizing figure.
Who was once considered to be one of the greatest fighters on the planet. But there's just one problem. He's just not that great.
Paddy is just confusing the hell out of me. I don't know. I just want to know, is it a gimmick? I thought he definitely lost 30-27. It's either he's completely delusional or it's a gimmick.
4-0 in UFC, defeated Gordon by a unanimous decision. A decision that turned plenty of heads and put judges under fire.
I believe 99.99% of the world thinks I won.
Paddy immediately defended the decision, saying he thought he won rounds 1 and 2 easily.
I know I won that fight, simple as.
Also stating that he would have given UFC lightweight champion Islam a tougher test than Charles Oliveira did.
And he's talking about Makachev, who his specialty is wrestling. He's talking about Oliveira, these monster dudes who their specialties are the ground game and stuff. I don't understand where he's getting this from. How could he talk like that?
So who is Paddy, and why is he so delusional? Paddy got his start in Cage Warriors, an MMA organization based in Europe. While being much smaller than UFC, it served as the proving grounds for many fighters such as Michael Bisping, Conor McGregor, Jeff Monson, and a lot of other fighters. So Paddy built up his clout and started making himself known through interviews and funny posts.
No, how many months?
Like 7.
Which allowed him to build a fairly loyal fan base.
I enjoy watching you. For real. Keep it going, bro.
Then, by 2021, Paddy was signed on to the UFC, where he would go on to have a tough match against Luigi, almost suffering a knockout early on, but was able to make it through. Fast forward after 2 follow-up appearances at UFC in London, Paddy winds up on Ariel Helwani's program, the MMA Hour. But after appearing on a podcast with Dana White,
And he said, oh no, that's me journalist integrity. You're not a journalist no more.
Far from it.
Paddy stated that Ariel didn't want to pay for interviews.
And he wanted me to really let go of that paid interview to do an interview with him.
And accused him of asking Paddy to skip his interviews that he was getting paid for to go on Ariel's program for free, which is usually standard with most of these podcasts and interviews with fighters. Typically, these interviews are used to introduce the athletes to newer audiences and help them build up their brand image, something they should all be working on. So the controversy continues once Ariel brings up the fact that he had Paddy on his program before.
I just didn't like that he was doubling and tripling down on the lies.
And even after evidence of Paddy sending him a voice message,
I never asked him to drop anything that was paid or not paid.
Asking Ariel to do content with him.
He didn't say have a drink or anything on that voice memo either. He's now trying.
And pretty much everyone I know believes that a fighter getting paid is a good thing. And they actually deserve a lot more considering what they put their body through. However, Ariel took this as an insult.
First time anyone has ever said this to me. Quite insulting, to be honest with you.
Considering that he's been interviewing fighters since 2009, had interviewed Paddy before, and never had a fighter asked to be paid for an interview.
Ask any fighter out there. Never happened, never will happen, never did happen.
Which mirrors what several athletes and famous people go through. First, their fans love them because of their relatable personality, but as they reach more success and start surrounding themselves with a different crowd, like Dana White and the CEO of Barstool Sports, they often begin to change, especially with the history between Dana and Ariel. And after everything Ariel has done in terms of promoting the UFC, its fighters, and even Dana White himself, Dana still hates him, with the drama continuing to build up leading up to UFC 282. Similar to his fight with Luigi, Paddy was getting rocked by Jared Gordon.
And Pimblett, like a genius, lowers all hands away from his chin and just takes a clean left hand.
Managing to survive due to his phenomenal chin and losing the first round. Round 2, Jared landed a takedown, putting Paddy down 2-0 for many people following the fight. Third round, Jared controlled Paddy for the majority of the fight and tries to take him down the whole round, with many fans believing that Jared would get the win, 29-28. But all 3 judges scored the contest 29-28 in favor of Paddy. The delusion is here because Paddy thinks he clearly won a fight, in which he didn't. We've seen something similar with other fighters with a hype train behind them, like Conor McGregor, but the fans could tell that he was performing for the big show. But with Paddy, it doesn't feel like a performance. The funny and relatable personality we had grown so used to, and that was so enduringly authentic, seems to have taken on the life of his performance. Because let's face it, Paddy is a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter. His jiu-jitsu is good, but his stand-up needs a lot of work. But can anyone honestly say that Paddy has improved from his first fight in the UFC?
I know for a fact that I won the fight. So, as I say, I deal in facts.
And he doesn't want to improve. At least all those other guys could back up their trash talk with their performance. People respect and revere great fighters for their skill. But when you don't have that skill and you have to rely on bold claims like Jake Paul pissing people off so that they'll talk about you, that doesn't last. And when all that hype dies down and your chin is no longer strong, that's when problems will arise.